Good morning and welcome to Social Security Today. I'm your host, Jeffrey Rodriguez. I am the Public Affairs Specialist here in Orange County for Social Security Administration. And it's great to be here this morning, great to have you as well. And today we have just some wonderful information and really keen in on in this month looking at financial literacy and our job, our responsibility as individuals to take a look at what is important to us as far as our future and our finances go. And I know that many, as we get nearer, sometimes maybe some wait a little too late, and as they get closer into retirement or start considering retirement, they look and try to see where they're at. And in reality, part of the message that I really try to push forward as I go through and share advocacy about Social Security is that we really need to do our job, much before. It can't wait until the end. Because of just, as you know, I don't want to get into or pretend that I'm a financial planner, but I am saying that, we need to be more aware of how does Social Security fit into the overall picture of things that we're looking at and other things, other avenues, whether it be savings or whether it be some type of pension system or whatever it is that we're taking advantage of through our career, through our employers, and then putting all of that together. And so I want to share, and if we can kind of zoom in, if you take a look at this cycle or what we're looking at when we look at understanding Social Security, as we look at understanding the financial security and how important it is, it's really this cyclical thing that we go through. We have to understand those opportunities that are in front of us. As we go through, then we receive the education. So that's part of what I'm doing, is educating. We go and move into designing what's going to work for us. And as you can see there on those things, the risk management, the wealth accumulation, as well as the wealth preservation and distribution, and then we're executing the plan, and we're right back into understanding, reevaluating, taking a look at how well we understood our initial understanding of retirement, of Social Security, of the other things that we're folding in and creating, if you will, that portfolio for ourselves, so that when we retire, we're not worried about the poverty level. We're really looking at how can I comfortably, what do I need to comfortably do what I want to do in retirement? And that's the best question to be asking, not so much how little I need or what's the minimum I need, but rather, how can I be so that I'm comfortable and I'm doing those things? And it really needs to start, as I said, way in advance. And so as you look there, understanding, so it may be understanding what are the things that I need, how much do I want to have, how much will I need, what are my expenses, all of those things. And then we look at going through again that whole cycle, the educational process, the advocacy, listening to people such as myself, listening to financial advisors, listening and reading the other things that will affect us, keeping our eyes on the laws and the policies that change, not only Social Security, obviously, because I'm here and I'm talking about that, from my perspective, but really all the other policies, all the IRAs we have with the My IRA that comes into play. That is a new thing. If you go on to the U.S. Treasury website, you can get there through ours. If you go through our website, www.socialsecurity.gov, you can take a look, and at the very bottom it'll have a link to the My IRA. Take a look at that, another avenue in which you can save and have for the future. So again, the advocacy, designing, putting those things into place, and then executing, creating a plan and executing the plan. If we do those things, if we put all of this together, then I can guarantee you that when we get to the point where we're ready to retire, it's no longer, sometimes the question, when is the best point for me to retire? You have already answered that question. You've taken a look at the material, you've taken a look at the information, you've taken a look at your numbers and your situation, and you are executing that plan that you've put in place. Again, not waiting till that last minute, but rather this plan that you've built over time and years years, and now you're ready to put that into place. So for those that have been able to do this, I applaud you. Excellent. Again, maybe some have had opportunities kind of in and out. And so again, I would push you back to the My IRA. Take a look at what that is. You can go straight to it through www.myira.gov or again through our website. And it really takes into place, it's an affordable way to put aside money. It becomes yours. You're able to take it with you. It's not locked to an employer. It's one that you create through the U.S. Treasury. It's very similar, if you will, to a 401k, but it is yours. It'll help you grow in kind of that traditional way, that not through the traditional savings, but rather through another area. So take a look at that when you're able to. And the nice thing about it, as I said, whether you move from one work to the other, doesn't matter. So that savings plan, there's a few things on there. You have the ability, when you take a look, you'll see that it's both, it's kind of like having it, or really what it is, it's a Roth IRA, if you will. So you can take it with you wherever you go. So no matter, it's not linked to an employer. You can even take and use your, if I understood right, your tax return. If you wanted to use some of that to go towards it, to initially set it up, you can do so as well. There is generally that $5,550 that you can put in. And as you get over or closer over the age of 50, you're able to put in an additional $1,000, the $6,500. So different things that you can do, just another avenue of savings, preparing for the future, and allowing that to compound and have its benefit for you. One of the other things, as we're kind of talking about the financial literacy and taking a look at, in the month of April, really is Financial Literacy Month. If you look at our website and you just go into the search engine and you just type in their retirement planner, then this other screen will come in. If we can go to that next screen, you'll take a look and you'll see there's a few things on there. As you look at that retirement planner screen or page, as you go into it, you're going to have the ability to take a look and do a few things. You're going to be able, it will give you links into your own personal retirement and questions that you may have. There are some new policies, and I've gone over them before, that go into play the end of this month of April, and really looking at going forward into May, so April 30th and on, that have some implications that may be things that you were planning to do with your Social Security in regards to filing, or maybe filing, suspending your claim, allowing a spouse to. You need to go to that retirement planner page, and on that right side, those links there, it'll talk about what we consider, what we call a deemed filer, and those people that will be, that are trying to file on a spouse's record, how they're able to, at what point, and some that will not. After, if you were born January 2nd, 1954 or later, you no longer have the ability to restrict a claim. So if you are planning to allow yours to grow in value using the 8% per year, the delayed retirement credit, and you were going to file on a spouse record, but you're born after January 2nd, 1954, you no longer would be able to. You're what we call a deemed filer. That means you have to take your claim prior to taking anyone else's, even after full retirement age. So look at that link, understand it, see if it's going to affect you or not. Again, the cutoff date is January 2nd, 1954. If you're born before, you still may be able to restrict your claim. If you're born after, you will not be able to, so you're going to have to devise another plan or strategy if that was one that you were doing. If you have a financial planner, speak to them. If your financial planner does not understand it, have them give me a call, have them look me up, and I'll help make sure that they do, so they can also help others with that. The second part of that, when you look at those links on the right-hand side, is those that will be doing or were considering setting up a voluntary suspension. Anyone who wants to has to meet the criteria and do that prior to April 30th. April 30th and on, You no longer will be able to file and suspend, allowing a beneficiary to file on your record. If you do it prior, then beneficiaries can file on there while you're in suspension. After April 30th and going forward, you can still suspend your benefits, but then no one will be able to be eligible on your record when you do so. So some new laws and policies that are in place that are coming just around the corner, the end of this month of April. So please take a look at those links and understand them, because they will affect your strategy if you fall into place or fall under one of those that it may have changed and affected you. So again, thank you for taking a look at our website, and keep posted on those. It's really important that when you're looking at those, that you understand how it's going to affect you and what needs to happen as far as that. The next one, if you see, or rather, if we take a look at that next, let me open this back up. If we take a look at the next slide there, the My Social Security, this coming week, we're looking from April 4th through the April 13th. That whole week is what we call the National My Social Security week, or days, because it's longer than a week. It's actually 10 days. Those, we're really trying to get out the message, and this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to get out that message to everybody to let them know that this My Social Security account, if you have not set that up, and you hear me, I normally start with it because I feel it's that important. But when we take a look at the My Social Security account, there is so much that goes on there, and that is so important for everyone to understand the information that you have available to you on that record or at your own personal account. It's if I can use the word or say it this way, it's really that portal that's going to allow you to do much more than just the things that we're already set up. I mean, currently right now you can change your address, you can correct a direct deposit or change one or start it up. You can reprint your 1099s with the tax season obviously of great value right now. You can reorder a Medicare card and many other things. You can print out a benefit statement, and we're going to continue to add in what you can do at that site, but you need to set it up so that you can go in and control, so you can manage, so you can take a look at and have access to that. And so we're asking everybody during this week, I'm trying to get the message out as great as I can. Not only that, on the 13th, as you see there, that's check your statement day. And what we're saying is, after you've created your My Social Security account, go back in and check your statement. Take a look at, are all of my years, and if you have not started your benefits, one of the things that's real crucial and important about the My Social Security account, your statement, if you will, the e-statement, is to take a look and make sure that your earnings records are correct. Go through and take a look. Are all of the earnings on there correct? And if there's any zeros, to get those put on. And you'll need to go into one of our offices, talk to one of the representatives, and ask how we can get that set up. Usually it's through a W-2 or those tax records, and then we'll go ahead and put that back in. It's real important because we're going to use 35 of your highest years, not consecutive years. We're looking at the 35 highest years. And so if you have some zeros in there, it may affect. You may be decreasing your benefit, albeit whatever that amount is, you may be decreasing your benefit for not having the correct earnings records in there. So please take a look at your statement, take a look at how much you're going to be receiving, whatever it is that you need to review. April 13th is a day that we're encouraging everyone. Make sure you're on, make sure you have access to it. Moving forward, as I mentioned, with the ability through your My Social Security account to be able to print out a 1099, well, we know that taxes are just around the corner. If you haven't done them by now, you just have a few days left, and that 15th will roll around. We know how quick it'll come. Don't be one of those people that's looking for an open post office at midnight. please make sure that you go through. If you need to print out your 1099, you can do it right through your My Social Security account and get that information, file your taxes timely, and not have the headaches. If you, don't be stuck if you get to the point where you weren't able to you didn't receive your 1099 or you misplaced it. You don't have to run into the office and spend half a day or a day, getting to an office, getting back home through traffic. Right online, you're able to do that. So a great thing there. Again, as I said, just in mind, I think I mentioned this last month in regards to taxes just in all, that part of the IRS rule is that you will never have to pay more than 85% of your Social Security benefits, or that's the highest amount that they'll use. So just keep that in mind. Taxes, got to do them. Make sure you do them timely. If you need to reprint your 1099, you have access to that. The next subject is faces of disability. Faces of disability, the ADA, or the Americans with Disabilities Act. I'm sure, as in case with myself, and on average, everybody is affected by disabilities. I can't think of a family or person that doesn't have a close friend or family member that has some type of disability. Now, maybe they're able to work through with their disability and continue working. Others are not. And what I'd like to do at this time, there's a video that I'd like you to watch. It talks about disability and just kind of the struggles, a personal testimony, if you will, about disability and how Social Security is helping. So let's take a look at that.
I have a disability in which I am deaf. I was born with it. It is what they call progressive nerve damage. So when I was born, I could hear, but by the time I was about 18 months old, my pediatrician told my mother that she suspected that I might be deaf and was going to have a problem. I don't know that there's a whole lot that I feel limited at doing as much as the barriers that other people, the attitudinal barriers that happen that put barriers in front of me. For example, it's been very difficult to find employment through most of my younger years, from the time I graduated from college at the age of 22 or 23. At the time when I was going to college, I had a small child that I was raising, and all the income I had was the child support that she was receiving, which is much less than $100 a month. So having Social Security benefits see me through college until I was employed kept my head above water. Without Social Security, I probably would not have done as well and would not have been able to find employment. So it kept me from being homeless, because Social Security got me to that point where I was comfortable enough to lose it. And it motivated me to keep fighting harder. I didn't find a good job until I was 35. And I've been successfully employed for 19 years. What we do is we help people with disability by empowering them and offering them support and services to empower them to have independent and productive lives in a barrier-free community. So, I can remember going to interviews and being told, I can't hire you because you're deaf. Well, in today's world, they wouldn't get away with that. I want to say thank you for being there, because I don't know that I would be here today doing what I am doing. And I can look back and say, it's what got me through all those years.
For more information about the Social Security Disability Program, visit www.socialsecurity.gov/disabilityfacts.
Welcome back. As you can see, what a powerful testimony for this person in regards to how Social Security has helped, and we continue to. So if you know someone that is disabled, has become disabled, and have them, please give us a call. Make sure to find out if they meet the criteria, if they're able to receive that benefit. But again, that's, you know, the money that's being used, that people pay into Social Security. This is part of it. It's most of the time we're just considering retirement. You know, that's the biggest thing, retirement and Medicare. But there's this other side of it, which is disabilities, and a growing percentage. It's about somewhere around 19% of all benefits that we pay out are paid to people with disabilities. You know, there's others. If you go to our website, you can link on, or if you go to YouTube, you can see there's other testimonies and videos if you would like to. So, faces of disabilities. I want to jump in now to a section that I'm trying to create and get kind of off the ground, kind of, if you will, getting the airplane into the air. And it's the questions. And if you have questions for me, again, I provide my information. You can see it there. You can use it. You can email me, jeffrey.rodriguez@ssa.gov. If you have a question specifically that you'd like me to answer for you, or if you prefer, you want to mail me a letter and ask a question, you have my address there. Just put it to Social Security Administration, attention Jeffrey Rodriguez at 1851 East 1st Street, Suite 500 in Santa Ana, 92705. And because I'd love to answer some of those questions. For privacy, obviously, I won't use your name unless you ask me and say it's fine, use my first name. I wouldn't use the last name. But I know that you also have questions. I'll extract some of the common questions and use those now and go over them in this period or in this segment. But really, I prefer to be able to answer questions that you have. So send me your questions, please. Let me answer some of those specific for you. So let's go into some of the general questions. And the first one, the question that I have is, what is a Social Security statement and how can I get a copy? Earlier, you heard me talking about a Social Security statement. You may say, well, what is that really? Or what is a Social Security statement? And very valid question. So, your online Social Security statement is what gives you a secure and convenient access to your earnings record, meaning going through the My Social Security account. What that really is, it's going to show you an estimate of the retirement that you're eligible to, your disability that you're eligible to, or survivor benefits if you're eligible to them, and your benefactors. You may see how much your family is eligible to in a survivor claim. You can also take a look at some of the personal, your earnings record, and see how much did I earn each year? Is it correct? And like some of those things that I had mentioned before, that's real important to do prior to you starting benefits. If you're already receiving benefits, then your statement is going to have that information about. You can print out a actual benefit statement, which is how much are you currently receiving from what type of benefit, and it'll also state on there if you have Medicare and what part of Medicare you have, whether it's just A or B or both, and what dates they were effective. And you can use that benefit statement that you print out right off of your My Social Security account. That printout you can use and show as proof of Medicare to someone, or proof of earnings, and that's what most use it for. If you need to show proof of your income, that benefit statement that you can print out is right there. So some great things on the benefit statement. Let's go to the next question. And question number 2 here. And let's see. I own a business. What should I do if an employee gives me a Social Security number, but he cannot produce the card, or if the employee is waiting to receive a Social Security number? So you have a business and someone comes in, a new employee, and they say, I don't have my card, but I know my number. Well, if that's the case, seeing the card is not as important as, or what is more crucial, is making sure that the information is correct. Because when you go to print out the W-2 for your employer and the payment throughout the time that they're working for you, is you want both the name and the Social Security number to match as it is on our records so that there's no error. So if you don't have that, there's other ways that you can take a look, because they don't necessarily have to have the card. There are ways that you can go onto our website in order to verify that the number is correct. So there are some things that you can do, and really, it's almost as we're trying to move forward to, instead of having to carry a card around, where it's knowing your number and being able to verify it online. So we do have that ability for the employers to go through and look at that. And if you go on to our website, one of the tabs up at the top talks about business. And if you go into the business side there, you'll be able to do so. Or if you use the web, if you just want to punch in, it's www.socialsecurity.gov/BSO, Business Service Online. So take a look at that if you are an employer. There's some other things that are pertinent to you that you maybe didn't know prior. So I would say take a look at our business page and things that can help you be able to run a cleaner, better business, and some ideas there. So again, you don't necessarily need to see the card, but you will be able to verify it online. Let's go to a retirement question. My wife didn't work enough to earn the 40 credits to qualify for Social Security retirement benefits. Can she qualify on my record? What an excellent question. Can she qualify on your record? Yes, she could. Even if your spouse has never worked, and in this case in the question, my wife, even if your wife has never worked, then she could be eligible to receive benefits meeting certain criteria. At least age 62, not working over $15,000 annually, currently this year $15,720. And if that's the case, then she could potentially be receiving benefits, especially if you are already receiving retirement. If you're receiving disability, then your spouse could potentially jump on your record. So it's worth having your spouse check to see if that's available. So that's all the time I have for questions today. So I want to encourage you again, please, if you have questions, send them to me, jeffrey.rodriguez@ssa.gov, or at that address. And I appreciate your time and taking a look at Social Security. Again, Social Security Week, we're looking at the My Social Security Account Week, April 4th through the 13th. If you haven't signed up, do me a favor. Take one of those days and sign up, and I'd greatly appreciate it. So thank you for joining me on this edition, and until our next time, I ask that you be safe and thoughtful, and God bless America, and especially Laguna Woods.